What's up, everybody? This is Jason, Zombie Collector. Let me bring this down. Let me just bring this down a smidge. It is 8:30 on the East Coast. Dare I say, the best coast? And when I say the East Coast, I mean not East Coast time. I mean actually in the Midwest. So there's that. So I haven't done 30 seconds. I'm already making terrible mistakes with my speaking, with my talking. It's not always what it all cracked up to be. Now, I don't know. I'm currently a new cat owner, as some of you all know. I own a kitty cat, and it's been an adventure. And the first week that I had gotten the cat, I got it from like the ghetto of Anderson, Indiana. And when I'm talking about the ghetto, I'm talking about like boarded up windows and dilapidated cars in the driveways and the streets, and like sheets hanging up over the windows, and people like in hair rollers and like pajama bottoms walking around the streets. And yeah, it's pretty rough. Hey, what up, Joe? What up, George? Joe and George. Morning, or should I say, Ohio gozaimasu. So yeah. And then I forgot what it is. I know kamsahamnida. Shile hamnida. I'm gonna say y'all. So there you go. Let me throw somebody Korean out there too. But so when I got the cat, I found out that the cat had fleas because the people didn't do anything. Apparently just breed the cats. And so when I had it in the house, I went, hey, what up? Oh, konnichiwa. Yes. Genki desu ka? Neko shabaru. I'm talking about my cat. So the people didn't really take care of the cats. Apparently they just breed them or whatever, just like whatnot. So I feel like I kind of rescued the cat from a terrible situation. And the woman said that she had a autistic child who would be mean to the cat. So the cat's probably was already a little bit shell-shocked. It was a kitten, that was probably a couple months old, maybe. So when I found out the cat had fleas, I couldn't bring it in the house. I had it in the house. Thank God it didn't end up getting in my house and there was fleas everywhere. Thank the Lord. But I ended up having to put it in the garage. Well, then when I took it to the vet the next day, the vet said that they would give, gave the 3-month on the back of the neck medication to kill all the fleas and to protect the cat, which is great. But then I had to keep it out in the garage. And I mean, I live in a pretty cold state a lot of times in the winter. And so, I mean, I gave it some blankets and I put it in the garage. I kept it out of the elements. I just couldn't have it in the house, but I would let him out of the garage quite a bit. And he would roam the backyard, and I live behind a wooded area. Well, now that the cat can be in the house, and he's been in the house for weeks now, he always tries to escape and go out, and then he likes to run the yard and run all up and down the backyard and into the wooded areas. And so this morning, it's 4 or 5 inches of snow around. And it's trying to run out in the snow, and I'm trying to keep him back because I was cleaning out the litter box. And the cat's out there, and I'm just at that point, I'm you know what? You're on your own. I'm not coming out there messing with you. You're just going to disappear into the snow, and then hopefully you don't come into a cat sickle, and you'll come back. So, the thing is now I guess the cat's learned that he just wants to take off. Then he'll just come back to the back of the door and then let me know he wants to come back in, I guess. Which is weird because I'm trying to keep him out of the backyard. I don't want to have to worry about him because yesterday he goes out the backyard before the snow comes and he climbs up halfway up a tree. And I thought I'm going to call the the fire department when your cat gets stuck in the tree. It's he literally he went up halfway through the tree. I mean, he probably went 8 feet, 9 feet up into a tree. And I'm oh my gosh, seriously. So I ended up having to get a stick and then kind of scare him out so he would jump down. And then he looked like a flying squirrel, flying through the air into the brush. And I'm I'm obviously not wanting to hurt him, but at the same time, I don't want him to get stuck in the tree. So I'm what did I sign up for? I tell everybody this amazing story to be Do I really want to have this cat? Do I really want to deal with these headaches? I'm just like, I don't know. So, yeah, you're right. He is trying to be real life Heathcliff. You're exactly right. Early morning streams. I feel like I gotta get the, I gotta wash the mouth out with from the previous live stream last night to kind of clean the palate, if you will, for sure. Whoa now. That's true. Keep it clean. We don't want stove investors, stove collectors, stove sports to start wielding that wrench. He might break it off on somebody. So I love having the cat, but I don't like some of the headaches, which is is typical you'd expect. So anyways, it is what it is. I'm just trying to, be a good owner of an animal. And so it is what it is. But yeah, it was very frustrating. I bet you're going to show a wrench, baby. It's still a kitten. I mean, he's getting pretty big, but he's still a kitten. I mean, it's probably like maybe going on 5 months old. I think he was probably born in October. So Stove over wielding the wrench right now on George. Oh, Mark's putting George in his place. So yeah, it is. You're right, Dave. You have to be on your best behavior on Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. Right. Yeah, they are. It is. I mean, the thing is that like, you want to be patient with the animal. Of course, the animals, you want to be patient. But you also, I'm not going to let some cat like attack my foot when I'm walking across my carpet. I'm like, that's not going to be that's not acceptable. So it's trying to find that happy medium of like, let's be playful. I love that you're playing, but don't attack my feet. Because I know plenty of Chinese restaurants that could use a good meal to set you up for some unexpected customers. I spent years in Korea. I spent over 6 months, but years over 6 month period of time in Korea. There's lots of restaurants that serve dog when I was living in Korea. I'm sure George could speak to that if he's still here. So, George, classy as ever. But yeah, there's like a lot of dog restaurants in Korea. Well, maybe not a lot, but there are dog restaurants in Korea that I went to frequently. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've eaten dog and I was fine with it. It wasn't like my favorite, meal I've ever had, but it was fine. It wasn't anywhere near as disgusting as eating raw whale in Japan called kujira. That was disgusting. It was like eating whale is like eating like a raw, cold, bloody ice cube. Meaty ice cube. That's the best way to explain it. But so yeah, at least dog is cooked and it's kind of stringy. I don't know. It's kind of like a beef. It's like some beef. So yeah, I don't know where the cat is. He's hiding somewhere around here. Hey, Garfield. Where are you at? He's probably like, you know what? F you. And when I say F you, I mean Fukuoka. The F-U-K, Fukuoka. Uh-oh. The power just went out. Uh-oh. See, I told you. I was trying to kick back on. Look at that. This is live and in color right here. There we go. See, I told you I was in the middle of a winter wonderland, a winter storm. The power went out and everything. Woo-wee. Yeah, it is. Yeah, goats too. That's a good. Yeah, it is like goat. You're right. I think he's more like the Bill Murray one. I feel like he's a little bit more of an a-hole. Little known fact: Jim Davis, who actually is from Indiana, doesn't live too far from where I live. He lives in Grant County, Indiana, which is Gas City. Gas. That's right, Gas City and Upland, Indiana, where and then Fairmount, which is where James Dean is from. That's where Jim Davis is. And my job, what I do for a living is I work with a lot of let's say elderly people come into the office. What I do for a living, and Jim Davis came in right before COVID. He had to get some stuff taken care of with his business, and he came in, and Jim Davis was in the office, and I was like, that is so cool. Jim Davis is literally sitting just a few cubicles over, handling his business. The guy who created Garfield, that was super cool. I thought that's awesome. I mean, the guy has to be a multi-millionaire, I'd assume, but he still has to take care of his business. So it was cool. And then, of course, the person who took Mr. Davis's information and helped him, she was, of course, ecstatic. She was like, Jim Davis was just in our cubicle next to you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, did you get an autograph? And she was like, no. And I'm like, man, you should have asked for an autograph of Jim Davis. I'm sure you're helping him with his financial stuff. So I'm like, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to sign a sheet. Maybe he'll even do a little drawing for you in Garfield. Hey, what up, Gary? Yeah, man, I'm pulling all nighter, dude. I just kept on going. I went from being super woke to now just being woke. Yeah, man. It was cool. So if you're a fan of a comic strip or the cartoon or the character, it was kind of cool for sure. It's so funny because Grant County, Indiana, is known for Garfield and for James Dean, and not necessarily in that order. It just depends on what circles you run in. But they have a museum there, and it's like half of it's James Dean, half of it's Garfield related stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's free to go, which is great. I love that museum. It's really cool. So if you ever come to Indiana, you come and visit, I will take you there. You can go hang out with Garfield. You go hang out with James Dean, and things like inanimate objects. I mean, James Dean is dead, and Garfield's a cartoon character, but you know what I mean. You're picking up what I'm laying down. So I did some videos this morning to put in the old queue for the future. I always try to get like 2 or 3 done on the weekends, so I have some stuff to pepper throughout the week. And I like to do my live streams, but of course, like I'm doing right now. But next week, Luca's with his mom, so I have a lot of downtime. So maybe I can do a live stream with some of you fine young cannibals, and we can hang out and do a live stream once or twice during next week. But I will say, I think everybody knows it's been like a tradition for me and Bob the last couple of years. That's I'm gonna go up to Bob's and his family's homestead in Pittsburgh. I think that's 3rd week in March, I want to say, and we're looking to hang out. I'm looking to hang out there. So if anybody is in the Pittsburgh area during like March 15th through the 19th or something, let me know, because I'd love to hang out with some of you cool cats. See, I brought it back to cats. Meow. See, I don't do anything on accident on this channel. It's all on purpose. But yeah, I'm going to hang out with Bob. His last 2 years I've been. Last time I went to Bob's, COVID happened. So let's hope if I go back to Bob's next month, we can avoid a pandemic. That would be great. If I can avoid a pandemic, that'd be awesome. And I think Luca's going to go with us this year, to go with me again this year, since he was going to go to Japan with his mom like he was going to go last year, but then the pandemic happened and he couldn't go to Japan. And this year, looking to be the same. Hey, what up, BF Golf? What up, Home Skillet? So since he can't go back to Japan with his mom this year, or at least not in March, hopefully they can go in the summer or maybe October. He's going to go with me, I think. So I'm looking forward to going and hanging out with Bob. It'll probably be the last time I can hang out with Bob for the foreseeable future, because not too long after that, he won't be having, but his wife will be having their baby. And I just think, daddy daycare will be officially opened up. All right, dude. All right, George. We'll have to try to get together. I mean, I'm able to do it with, when I say I can be able to do it, I was able to get together with Tony yesterday, JP Wisco. So we can try to get together maybe in the next couple of days And obviously you wake up at the crack of dawn anyways because you do your things. You do your thing on your own channel. So maybe we could try to get together and I'll do one evening and you can do the morning and we'll do a live stream. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's true. I don't know where it came from. I don't want to get too much into it because my thoughts are already on the previous video I left. But yeah, I agree. It was crazy. I mean, I don't even know the guy. I mean, when you have that much hostility towards somebody that you don't even know, you think you know me or whatever on my channel, because you're lurking like some like jilted lover in the background. I don't know what to say. It was definitely creepy to say the least. I don't know. Some people just need a hug. I don't know. I guess some people need a hug. Some people need a hug from behind, like Mark Stowe Sports. He loves hugs from behind, and George does too. Because I mean, George, in the matter of the month and a half that I've kind of got to know George, he did a video where he is sitting on the toilet, with a glove or whatever, simulating some good old times, if you know what I mean, sitting on the John and a Korean toilet somewhere, and then he talked about getting naked on the hood of a car. So, I mean, George definitely has some like fantasy type things going on in his world. So you just never know. That kind of creepy is actually, I find amusing. The other creepy is getting upset with somebody who wants to try to like move forward and apologize for some of their behaviors and move forward. And somehow that's like, you know, a punk move, like a punk move. It's like, that's fine. I'll be that guy. I'll wear that badge proudly, that I want to move forward and not be a, misplaced and, angry or just, bitter person. But apparently other people want to live that way, so that's fine. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. My channel sucks. I talk too much. He hates what I do, except he watches what I do, watches my channel, watches my rants, and listens to me prattle on all day long. So, I mean, it makes no sense. Like when I say I have no idea who that guy is, like literally I had no idea who that guy is. I never watched a second of his video until yesterday. And I haven't watched a second since, and I will not be going back because I got all I needed to know from that guy. So, for sure. But yeah, I appreciate the support as always, guys. It means a lot to me for sure. I think one thing when people come to my channel, either good or bad, like or not like, I feel like I'm pretty honest, keep it real kind of guy, much to my detriment sometimes, and I do obviously 90% cards. A lot of times I'll do these live streams that has nothing to do with cards. I'll do live streams. I don't even show a card, or the cards are like secondary to what I'm just discussing, just hanging out and stuff. I think if you think about it, that, a lot of times it's that building that relationship with people by having these conversations. I can look in the chat and see people talking to me. We can build that rapport. And, I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I think that's what brings a lot of people to my channel is because, they get to know me through my channel. They get to know the real me. And if for whatever reason that bothers others, I don't know why that is, but apparently that bothers people that, you can build genuine friendships with people and, and have that kind of camaraderie and just like respect. I mean, it's cool. I mean, like I've said before, and like it's nothing that no one already has said on their own channel is, all of us are on here mostly because we're collectors of ball cards. But it doesn't stop there. A lot of times you have, you connect with people on other levels. Me and Mark, we'll talk a couple times a month maybe, and we'll talk about family, we'll talk about our kids, we'll talk about politics, we talk about the states we live in. I mean, we'll just talk about life. It's great. I mean, most of the time I would venture to say when me and Mark are talking on the phone, ball cards never even get mentioned. And I mean, I think that's great. Obviously I appreciate that. Me and Gary talk on the phone on a semi-regular basis. We all text each other. And I mean, I think that's great. I never even met those guys before, but I'm definitely looking forward to the time to do that. But I would venture to say that they probably feel, as I do with them, like very comfortable to talk to because they've got to know me through the years on my channel. But now I was just doing exclusively ball cards. I never communicated with people. And I just was like, thanks for watching. That's all I ever posted. I never did these things. We probably would not be having the kind of friendship that we have. I've hung out with Bob. I've hung out with a handful of guys in the community. I was just last week and I was at Sean's house, Steely's second up in Fort Wayne, and we're like, good buds. And, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the channel and like what I try to do, which is having these conversations. I mean, the first, 10 minutes of my conversation, I was talking about my cat, for crying out loud. No one's coming to my channel for that for the most part. But here we are on a Sunday morning talking about my kitty cat. My kitty cat! Wherever he's at. Probably crapping on my carpet somewhere so I can step on it later. That's probably what he's going to do. He's probably like, got you there. I got you there, cracker. Oh, man. But yeah, so anyways, I mean, I appreciate it, guys. Always the supports have always been really amazing, and I continue to be so for sure. Yeah, I think that's true, Mark. I mean, for sure. I mean, the first time I ever met Mark, Mark from Kentucky, Mark, I had followed his channel for a long time, and we commented back and forth. I remember the first time we met, he came up to a show in Indianapolis because he can only come up on Sundays because of his job. And it was like he was probably one of the first guys I met from the community outside of maybe Bob. And it was awesome. It was cool. I mean, we just hang out, we just goof off, we talk, and it's just awesome. Like you said, it's a continuation of the relationship you build on the interwebs. All right, man. See you later, Golf. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Gotta get ready for church. That's very important. Make sure you take Amish Dave Archer with you. I bet he would love it. Hey, what up, Reese? No, I don't sleep. Sleeping is not for me. For sure. I mean, well, if you think about it, I mean, that I did that live stream last night around 10 or 11, I guess. So, I mean, I went to bed not too long after that. And I woke up at 6. So, I mean, I had 6, 7 hours, 7, 8 hours of sleep, I guess, or something like that. So, it's fine. But, yeah. For sure. I appreciate you popping on, Reese. You are a great, great young lad in this community. Don't let anybody like Mark Stowe Sports tell you different. Good morning. I'm trying to think of a nice topic to discuss, a non-polarizing topic to discuss. Because I feel like that's necessary from yesterday. Have I told you all? I guess I don't know if I told you all the story. Maybe I did. Did I tell you all the story about the woman coming to my house saying I stole her cat? Have I told people that? 2 weeks ago, have I told people that story? I think I feel like I've told some people that. Maybe I did do that on a live stream. I was so bewildered by their experience. It's still sticking with me. But have I talked about that story? Hanging chads. Well, apparently I'm pretending to be a good guy just so I can get in the Hall of Fame, so I can get all the hanging chads and dimple chads in my favor, Mark, for sure. And George, for sure. It's all about the, even though I've been like Mr. Nice Guy, Jason 2.0 since before anywhere near the YouTube Hall of Fame began, back in, like I said, August or September. But apparently I'm just doing it now to get in. I mean, but the funny thing is the people who are voting for me on the YouTube Hall of Fame, at least the ones I've seen for the most part, are all people that I interact with on a daily basis or a quasi-daily basis. Literally every single person who I've seen vote for me, and obviously there's no way of knowing everybody probably because there's I think Mike said there was already 70 or 80 people who did votes, and then I'm sure a lot of those people have no idea who they are and whatnot. Maybe they did vote for me, I don't know. But almost everybody who voted for me that I'm aware of are people I know. I communicate with every day. Some people I talk to them on the phone. I text every day, chit chatting. I'm always on their channel supporting them. They call my channel support me. So it's not even a surprise. It has nothing to do with me being liked or not liked or trying to schmooze my way in or whatever, because it just happens to be, there's been a big push with the community for a handful of guys who's like, that Jason guy, he's one sexy Mustafa Ali. You get in there. Yeah, dude. Okay. All right. So the cat Beta story. So as I was telling you all earlier, the cat likes to go outside. So I usually would let him outside. And then 2 weeks ago, he wouldn't come back in. And I had some place I had to go. And I leave my garage door cracked open. I'll leave it unlocked and cracked open if he's outside. If I got to take off and I got try to find him or wherever he's going. So Luca had baseball. He has a workout session in Anderson. And so I come back. He goes to his mom's house. I come back. I'm sitting on the couch. And my next door neighbor who lives behind me goes, "Hey, is this your cat?" And she sent me a picture, like a screenshot. And I'm like, "Yep, that's Garfield." And she goes, "Well, somebody posted pictures of him on one of the Facebook like lost pet pages or something, asking if they know where the owner is." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I'm like, "Yeah." So apparently the cat ran away, even though I know that he's around the house. He's like around the house all the time. He's always around the house, like he always wanting to get in, as you'd expect. So, long story short, I find out the person's literally across the street from my house. So the cat ran across the street, and she got him and put him in her garage. So I walk across the street, and it's like 8 o'clock at night. By the way, it's like pitch black. It's dark. So I go across the street, and my neighbor said she sends a text to this message group that says, "Hey, I found the owner. He's on his way over to the house." So I'm like walking around the street I live on trying to find this house because I know exactly where it was. It literally happens to be across. I can throw a rock and hit the house from my house. It's that close. And so I go knock on the door, and these people, and I never really talked to them ever in my entire life. They're like very keep to themselves, and they always usually have like 5 or 6 cars in their driveway. It's like one of those situations. I mean, which is fine. They keep to themselves. It's fine. But anyways, and so I knock on their door, and this woman answers the door, and I'm like, "Hey, you have my cat." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like, "You can come through the house." And I'm like, "Why do I want to go through your house? I just want my cat. Like, I don't need to come into your house. Like, you can bring me my cat." Or I thought, you said it's in the garage in the post. And then all of a sudden she has like some kind of like Saint Bernard type dog, and the dog is literally trying to attack me from the other side of the door. It's like banging its head against the glass door, trying to bust through the door to get to me on the other side. I mean, it is like straight up Cujo. I'm not exaggerating. It's not like when you catch a fish and it's like 6 inches, but you tell everybody it's like 12. Like, it's not like this dog is like a 200-pound dog. It looks like Cujo, and it's like banging its head against the glass. And then she goes, "Maybe you should go to the garage. That way you're not coming to the house." I'm like, "Yeah, you think? I'm not coming inside of your house to be mauled by your 200-pound dog. That's not going to happen." So she opens the garage door and go in, and the cat's not even up front. Like the cat's in the back of the garage. So I'm like looking around, and she's like, "Well, what's your cat's name?" Like I'm like, "Garfield." "Oh, okay. Is it your cat?" "Yes, it's my cat." "Why would I come to your house to claim a cat that's not mine? Where do you live?" And all of a sudden now I'm becoming some kind of like, suspect. "I live across the street, ma'am." And she's like, what do you mean?" And I'm like, what's happening right now? So Garfield like comes right to me. I'm like, "Hey buddy, what's going on?" And he comes right up to me. It's a cat. It's not, dogs are completely different. They're gonna be so excited. Cats are kind of like, "Screw you. I know you feed me, but I don't really give a crap about you." Like, it's not like the cat's going to be like overtly friendly to me. You know what I'm saying? So, if you have a cat, this, your cats are kind of like F you half the time. They don't even acknowledge that you're even alive or exist. So the cat, he comes to me, but he's not like, "Jason, my long lost owner," like a dog would do. Right. My cat left for a couple of days. So yeah, it's mind-boggling. Yeah, exactly. My cat, he's not neutered yet because I had to wait like a month to get him neutered. They couldn't get me in. So I'm sure that cat's out there trying to find any alley cats that can find, any feral cats that can try to mount and and try to, you know, impregnate or whatever. So anyway, so she's like giving me the 12th degree or 10th degree, and I pick him up, and she's like, well, where do you live exactly? And I'm like, ma'am, and like, so I walk out of her garage and I point, I'm like, that is my house, literally across the street. It's sad that you lived here for over a year. You don't even know what I look like. When I say when I live across the street from your house, like I literally mean like this house across the street. And then she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, what am I in some kind of like cat fight club? Do I go around just showing up at people's houses randomly going, that's my cat, so I can join a fight club with my cat? I mean, what kind of like, what, I don't understand. You know, it's not, I mean, it's a cat. It's not like it's a full-blooded German Shepherd or a Husky or some like desirable dog that somebody be like, oh yeah, that's my dog. Can I have her back or have him back? It's like, it's a cat, for crying out loud. So I get the cat, I bring him over. I even put the cat down in front of my door. And so when I open the door, you know, he runs right into the house just to show that it's not like a cat that like took off and was like, get me away from this creepy dude. He's trying to bring me in this house and, you know, whatever. Put me in the oven. So then like 45 minutes pass. The cat's like laying on my lap, just chilling while I'm watching TV or whatever. And I get a knock at my door. And now this is like 9 o'clock at night now. And I'm like, what? I mean, I've been here in my house for like 7 years. I don't think I've ever had somebody knock on my door, like very rarely in my entire life. Like, because I mean, I don't have any family or friends around here. The people who know me just walk in, like Luca and his mom and stuff like that. So I rarely have somebody come and knock on my door, especially at 9 o'clock at night. So I kind of look out the window. I kind of look through the door from when I'm sitting on my couch, and it looks like there's a handful of people all crowded in front of my door. And I'm like, what in the world? So like I cracked the door open because it's like, you know, who knows nowadays? Quite frankly, like I'm not just going to open the door at 9 o'clock and be like, hey, what's going on? And then get like, you know, shot or whatnot. So I cracked the door open and I'm like looking, I'm like, and I happen to look and it's the neighbor from across the street with some other lady and her like two little girls, like 8 and 6. And they're all like huddled together up in the door frame. And this woman who's not my neighbor, but somebody else goes, she says, you have my cat. And I'm like, excuse me? She goes, you have my cat. And I'm like, I don't have your cat. She goes, yes, you do. So I open the door. This woman immediately accuses me of stealing her cat. And so the neighbor from across the street's like, yeah, she's pretty convinced that this is her cat. And I'm like, after I told this lady, it's my cat, I live across the street from you. If I'm like stealing cats, am I going to tell the lady that I live across the street from that this stolen cat's currently at my house? So when anybody else who actually is that real cat's owner finds out that I've stolen their cats, they know exactly where I live to come and harass me. Like it doesn't make sense. So I tell the lady who's not the neighbor, I'm like, ma'am, I don't have your cat. And she's like, yes, you do. She has this picture on her phone of a cat. Granted, it does look like my cat, but it's not her cat. But I'm like, ma'am, it's not your cat. And she was like, well, the cat's chipped. And I'm like, well, then if your cat is chipped, then you would know that this is not your cat because two things. One, if it's chipped, you would know this cat's not your cat because it wouldn't bring you to my house. And two, this cat's not chipped. So there's nothing to bring you to the house. And she was like, it's my cat. Well, how long have you had that cat, sir? About a month. Oh, that's my cat. That's my cat. That's how. And I'm like, ma'am, this cat is not your cat. It's not like this cat is strolled into my yard. I went 15 minutes away in Anderson, Indiana, 20 minutes away to go get this cat from the ghetto. The person I got the cat from came out of their house with the cat, and to my knowledge, she posted it on Facebook. I needed somebody to buy this cat or take this cat, not buy it because they pretty much gave it away. Like I got to pay like $10 or something for the cat. I'm like, if somebody's stealing random cats, they're not going to put it on Facebook. Hey, I got a cat for sale or to rehome. They're going to like just go and whatever, keep the cat. So this woman was insistent, and the only reason I even didn't slam the door in her face and tell her to go F herself was because she had two little girls, and they're like looking at me like I'm the cat Nazi, like stealing their precious little, you know, mittens or whatever. And they're like looking at their mom. It's like, you know, they're like, like this evil man stole our kitty cat. And so I'm like, that only reason why I chose not to like tell this woman to go, like I said, go F herself. So she goes, well, can I see the cat? So I'm like, yeah, because I mean, I had nothing to hide. It's not like I really stole their cat so I could join the cat fight club that I had currently in my basement that doesn't exist. So I grab Garfield and I'm like, I like pretty much shut the door on their faces so they can't come into my house. Because I thought they were gonna try to come into my house. Like they're like up against the door frame, like they're trying to like come in. So like I grab the cat and I come around the corner. And as soon as I come around the corner with the cat, the woman's like, oh yeah, that's not my cat. And I'm like, I know it's not your cat. I told you that 5 minutes ago. So then she just kind of sat there, and then the neighbor was like, and I slammed the door in all their faces and was like, you all can go yourselves. But I was like, are you serious right now? Like, what in the world? Like, only in small town Indiana do you get accused of being a catnapper, and then they won't let it go, and then you tell them the truth, and they still think you're some kind of cat thief. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I wish I would have known who this person really is, because I would have been like, listen, I'm going to put on Facebook, this person's a crazy one. Stay away from her. She goes around to random people's houses at 9 o'clock at night, accusing them of stealing their cat, which makes no sense. If it's Chip, you'd obviously know that your cat is not here. Like, it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, exactly. Crazy cat lady. 100% you get that right, Reese. My friend tried to sacrifice. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not doing any cat sacrifices. Bob. Yep, I hope not too. I mean, it could keep me out. I mean, I could be the real Kurt Schilling of the YouTube Hall of Fame. But yeah, so that was my crazy cat story. So the cat's already provided quite a bit of entertainment in the month and change that's been here. Yeah, no, I should. I'm gonna become an old. I don't know if cat man is a typical thing or a cat. Yeah, I mean a cat lady, a cat man. I don't know if that's a thing. I feel like one cat's enough. My house is so small. I don't want my house to smell like a litter box. So I definitely got to be a little somewhat careful. Hey, what up, Henry? So yeah, man, that's kind of the story of what happened to me and the crazy things with the cat creeper lady, people, neighbor, children. Yeah, it was like 10 or 15 schmeckles I bought the cat for. But then, a $10 or $15 cat turned into like a $200 cat when you get the shots for it and the flea medicine and the booster shots and everything else they charge you for. It's like now this cat, like I'm already in this cat like almost $300 and I still haven't got it neutered. I'm thinking about getting it declawed. So that's another $300 or $400. It's like, man, this cat's gonna end up being $1,000 cat. I'm like, man, then you're committed to the cat. Like you're definitely not wanting anything to happen to your cat because that's like taking $500, $600, $700 and it's like literally flushing it down the toilet. So you got to, at that point, you're like committed to like the stupid thing. Yeah, yeah. Back in the day, like Luca's mom, we had 2 dogs. We had a black lab chow mix. Her name was Ari, which I love that dog. And then we had a full-blooded German Shepherd named Turkish. And surprisingly, being Japanese, you would think she's not a big fan of like any like dirty or filthy animals on the bed. But she used to let the dogs on the bed. And so when we were like, especially in the summertime, I run real hot anyways, as you all know. Both dogs would jump up on the bed with us at night. And then, of course, me, my wife, and 2 giant dogs, because both dogs were probably like 80-pound dogs, would be like laying on the bed with us. I mean, it felt like it was like a sauna on there. So I don't blame you. I hear you what you're saying, Caesar. I always felt like I was like having to kick the dogs off of me and be like, guys, get off. Like, I'm like in here like sweating, like I'm in a sauna, like literally. I'm like, it is like the most uncomfortable feeling to have is all your animals laying all over on top of you, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Yeah, you adopt animals and like, yeah, they're like, then you want to make sure you keep them safe and protect them. And I can't be having that. If that cat gets declawed, I can't be letting him get out because if he gets out, he's gonna get destroyed by these feral cats in the neighborhood. They'll kill him because he won't have claws and he won't have no place. He won't have no defense, for sure. Yeah, it's a hashtag investment. Yeah. I'm gonna start be calling the cat collector zombie cat collector. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, Falsey. Yeah, yeah, he does. You're right, and I am 100% getting him neutered. Uh, his little sack's hanging in my face half the time. When he like kind of crawls up on my shoulder like it's a parrot. So when I'm sitting up in my chair or I'm on the couch, he'll come up and like come around my shoulders like it's like some kind of I don't even know what you call like remember like what do you call ferrets? Sometimes you see them like an orange ferret, and then there's little sacks like hanging right over here, and I'm like, I don't want your sack in my face. Maybe some people like George is into that because George talks about sacks a lot being in people's faces. I'm not a big fan of like anybody's sack, especially a cat sack, in my face. So that stuff's getting snipped here in a couple weeks. So for sure. Yeah, I'm not buying them expensive cat food. I mean, I buy them wet food and dry food to mix it up. Buy them some snacks. I don't buy like the cheapest cat food in the world, but I'm definitely not buying like the Grey Poupon of cat food. Yeah, man, the cats do fight all the time. It's crazy. I mean, when I had Garfield outside, one of those feral cats came up to him, and they got into a little fisticuffs action. They were smacking each other in the face, and then the cat, I guess Garfield smacked him hard enough he took off or whatever. But yeah, he came up on Garfield while he was on the deck in my backyard, and Garfield smacked him around a bit, and you could hear them. And I was like, oh God, somebody's getting killed out there. And sure enough, they're out there trying to like kill each other. New PC for Jason? No, I'm not going to be a new cat collector. I'm not collecting cats of any kind. I have one cat, and that's where he'll be my cat, I guess, until he's not. Yeah, cat sack fever. Yeah, baby, cat sack fever. Yeah, well, luckily I don't think I have any rat problems around where we live, but yeah, mice for sure. But so far, that's one good reason I have the cat is if the mouse gets in the house, the cat will end up killing it for sure. I have one of those like little fake mice, and he loves that thing. He like destroys it every time he gets a chance. He's like wearing that thing out for sure. I'd be a little bit nervous. He brought in a huge rat. I'd be like, ugh, ugh. What up, Schmitty? Schmidt, not to get confused with Smitty. What's going on, Schmitty? Schmidt collectors in the house, without a doubt. So, but yeah, man. So that was my crazy cat story for sure. I actually after I did a video where I talked before the debacle that was called Smitty. I did a video an hour or two earlier with JP Wisco Tony, and we talked about collecting like kind of like some of the white whales or like the direction of your collection you're going to go. And we're both talking about Brooklyn Dodgers, so I actually went on to eBay afterwards and but put in a bunch of bids for a bunch of Brooklyn Dodger graded cards, some autographs. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll win or not, but I kind of got inspired to hit it up and try to get a couple of Brooklyn Dodgers cards. I mean, because I want to show that to Caesar because apparently Caesar didn't know, that the Brooklyn Dodgers came from Brooklyn before they went to Los Angeles. I know it was a surprise to him, but I want to kind of, educate my friend Caesar about that world. Wow. He grows grapes so rats show up to eat the grapes. That's wild. I did not know that. Yeah. Well, when I was in China, I saw lots of big rats around all the different kind of food stalls in Guangzhou, which is where I lived in China for a short time, which is like the southern part of China. It's really famous for the spicy food. But yeah, there was like huge rats out there, and I was like walking around with flip flops on because that's how Americans do it. Even though after you live in Asia for a while, you try to avoid going to look too obvious like you're an American, even though there's no way of like really hiding it. But I was walking around in these street stalls and like open air markets where the hashtag Rona began, I'm sure. and there's like gigantic mice and rats running around out there. Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, Pepino. That is no good. Well, hopefully my cat does not eat a rat or a mouse that will cause him to get sick and die. But you never know. What up, MP Fox? I just want to say thanks to Matt to nominate me. Feeling obligated to because of mine being so nice, and I'm just playing nice with everybody now. And Matt felt obligated, as well as Hitman 23 Mike and a few other guys recently, to vote for me because I'm all about the YouTube Hall of Fame and being inducted this year. So, hey, good morning, Gary. Gary. Those were delicious noodles. I bet they were. Now, I'm okay with killing gophers and groundhogs and all that stuff for sure. Yeah, that's the thing you don't have to worry about here in Indiana too much. You don't have to worry about. Oh, that's funny, Gary. You can get into this live stream, but you can't go into the other one. That's funny because I'm doing it from my notebook or my whatever. I think it's called a notebook. So I guess it doesn't block you from here. Let me see if there's a. Let me see if I can like. No. There's nothing that really said I can do here. That sucks. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. If anybody knows how to unblock somebody from StreamYard, let me know. Because Gary, I didn't know Gary went by Elbow Sausage or something, and he came into my live stream like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he was being funny, but it was like I thought this was some random guy who was being like disrespectful. And I didn't know him personally, so I blocked him or banned him or something. Now I can't get him back on because I didn't realize it was Gary. So that was on me. I feel bad, but so I blocked him. I blocked him from the StreamYard, and now he can't get in and like comment anymore. So yeah, sorry about that, dude. But I'm glad if I do this one, it's cool. I can't do StreamYard much more because if you do the StreamYard, you only get 20 free hours a month. And my month runs out like on Halloween, on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is basically the same thing. And so I only have like a few hours left between now and the end of February 14th before my new month starts again. So after yesterday's video with Tony, which because I did that on StreamYard, I'm probably at like about 3 hours and change, maybe 4 at the most. So yeah. So luckily my cat has not brought me any animals to my house. So I hope not. Yeah, no, dude. I'm like a complete POS, dude. I say one thing and do another. You're right, Caesar. I can't even remember exactly what Gary was saying, but it was something like I can't remember exactly, but it was just like if you know the person, you're totally fine with it. But I thought if you all have done live streams, you know sometimes random people will get on there and they'll say like really inappropriate things, or they're disrespectful, or they're like trying to hawk or sell something. And so I thought that was just like I just thought that was Gary. I just thought he was like saying some inappropriate stuff. And in hindsight, it was actually hilarious, but unfortunately the damage had been done. And I'd already like blocked him. What up, John? Yeah, dude. Anytime soon, Gary. You know I'm always down. We're gonna shave our heads. I don't know if a bald zombie collector is in my future, so I'm not for sure. We could be like, what is the mosh pit guys? What do you call those guys from the wrestling? The headbangers, mosh and trash or something. Trash. I can't remember. Yeah, dude, that's a good question. George is asking you, John, what are you dropping it, dude? Thrasher and mosh. I think that's right. You're right, Steve. That sounds right. Oh, that's right. I think you were. That's what it was. Yeah, it was something like that. It was that's it. That was it because I didn't want to be associated with somebody saying things that sounded like it was racist, and I was like, dude, I can't have that on my channel. Obviously, I don't feel that way. On top of it, I feel like I got to say that nowadays. But I didn't want that to be like a streaming thing that it's like this guy's posting things that were like could be taken out of context. And again, now that I know it wasn't, but I knew him as Gary Von Erich because that's how he introduced himself to me. But I think he was underneath the elbow sausage in the live stream, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because I hadn't went to his channel yet to know. Because like I said, I knew it was Gary Von Erich, and before Elbow Sausage, as his name on YouTube, he probably did some live streams with me and stuff. But I didn't really. The name wasn't a name that really stuck out to me that I could remember. Like, who is this guy? Because we all know sometimes there's people who just be haters and they just like show up and like are like purposely being dicks, just because. And I thought he was heading that direction, and I try and cut it off in the past. But yeah, it was premature on my part. Oh, yeah, Gary. Okay. That's the $1 million question, Steve. Who is Smitty? The answer is a nobody. That's the answer. So, yeah, dude. I mean, for sure, man. I absolutely hate that because you have to be so careful. I mean, it's so ridiculous, man. I mean, you should be able to look at the context of whatever the person's saying and understand like where it's coming from. But I tell my son all the time, dude. I'm like, dude, you have to be so careful nowadays. Like, you cannot be getting caught saying something that you think is funny with some friends, because if it's recorded, your life can get ruined. So, I mean, people come back finding things that you said like 20 years ago. I mean, like, even like kids that just said things like when they're 13, 14 years old are like now being like, vilified for in their like 20s. It's mind boggling. Thank God there was no such thing as cell phones when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Lord have mercy. Appreciate it, Steve. Always checking in on me. You would think, I mean, at this point, John, I mean, I feel like I'm a lover, not a fighter with everybody. I think that's the reason why this guy was all like triggered, because I wasn't being that guy from the past and like trying to like, move forward and not be such a polarizing individual in the community. So yeah. I don't agree with you at all, Caesar, about that guy. That guy's a POS. So, I mean, everybody was using it. A few of his buddies or whatever, like, well, he was drunk. That is no excuse. Being drunk is a zero excuse reason to act like a complete douchebag. I don't care. And if you feel that way, Caesar, that's on you, man. I'm not a fan of that response. I mean, you cannot use being a drunk as an excuse to be, a complete jag off. You just can't do it. And I'm not going to let people use that as an excuse. I mean, you get what does a stand-up do? A stand-up dude that like goes and buries people who has nothing to do with nothing. I didn't even know this guy exists. I never once said a single solitary word to this guy ever in my entire life. And then he like decides, because I'm on friendly terms now with Mike, to like do a 2-minute rant video at the end of his like YouTube Hall of Fame video where he's like, bashing me. It's like, dude, I mean, if you think that's cool, Caesar, I think maybe I'm not your channel for you anymore, quite frankly. And I'll tell that to Lou Rock and anybody else, Spidey, Scotty, all those guys. I like you all. You're my buds. I have no problem with you. But if you want to defend that kind of guy, then I think it's probably best that you move on to somebody else, because I don't want to be associated with people like that. Quite frankly, that irks me, to be quite honest, is stuff like that, to be like, well, he's a good stand-up guy 9 times out of 10, but one time a month he acts like a complete jag-off. It's like, no, like you don't get a pass for that, that was completely uncalled for. So it is what it is. Like, as you all know, here's some hot takes for you. I wasn't prepared to do all that, but I mean, you can take it for whatever his opinion. No, I'm saying that I didn't go around calling people out of the blue for no reason. You know, if I had an issue with somebody particular, it was because of something they did, like the whole Mike Fire Pit thing or the whole I'm the commission thing, and I own up to that. But I don't go after somebody because they were like playing nice all of a sudden. Like, dude, like, what is that, dude? Like, how childish is that? Like, that was completely uncalled for. It wasn't like I just woke up one morning and was like going after Mike for no reason, you know? And that is it, like, quite frankly, you know? And I'm not trying to rehash the things with Mike, but the thing is, that's the reality of it. And if you're trying to equate Caesar, the problems I had with Mike in the past was the things that he brought to this community. This was not a Jason only thing. It was only because I was the most vocal of it all. Maybe then I mean, there's a few other guys, and that's fine. But that is not the same thing as just coming out of the complete blue and like running somebody into the ground. So I mean, I don't agree with that at all, Caesar. Quite frankly, I feel like that's a real piss poor. Just because you like somebody, you also can be up. You can be straight up and be like, you know, that what somebody says about somebody else like that, unsolicited. I don't know. I mean, I don't. It doesn't work both ways. Like when did I ever do anything to that guy, dude? When did I ever say anything about that guy? Explain that to me. Well, the answer is there's nothing to explain because it never happened. The guy was pissed off and upset because I wasn't pissed off and upset. I mean, what kind of rationale is that? And the rationale that people gave yesterday and whatever is that he was a drunk. That's not an excuse. And people who want to defend that, I don't have any use for it. So, I mean, you can just take it for whatever it's worth, dude. It's fine. I honestly don't care. So I'll be just doing fine moving on because I don't like to be associated with stuff like that. Like I said, if I did something or said something to that individual, then fine. I'm ready for the heat. I mean, I can take it. I obviously have done it for years. But the argument was because I worked things out with Mike. That was the argument. That's no argument. So, you know, you can just take it for what it's worth. So it is what it is, man. So I don't know, Henry. I feel like, you know, that's not really my thing anymore, quite frankly. I'm more like, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to still be doing hot takes on like baseball and sports in general. I like that. So I'll still be doing those kind of videos. But yeah, I mean, like as far as the community is concerned, you know, I feel like I've moved forward a lot from that until yesterday when that ridiculousness started back up. But I mean, hopefully we can just move on. I mean, like I said, I was essentially past it until Caesar was like, "Oh, it's fine. It's his opinion. It's okay." And it's like, no, sometimes opinions are not okay. And when you're bashing somebody who did not do anything to you for previous grievances that you think you had with somebody is categorically ridiculous. Well, all right, man. Whatever you say, dude. Well, George, I appreciate that, but maybe I should be a little bit more confused and concerned that you're watching me and then also playing with yourself. That is disturbing to say the least, quite frankly. But I think somebody else, like Mark, did a video where we went live. I think we were live, or we almost went live, where he was in the shower when I was doing a live stream or shaving, and he was like half naked. So I've been getting a lot of stuff like that recently, where people are getting naked or half naked and stuff. So the song "Footloose," I love that song. I don't really know what the relevance of it is right now, Steve, to be honest with you, but I do know that song. I love that song. I don't. The movie's fine with Kevin Bacon, but except for the Peter guy. Yeah, what's up, Gary? Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, like I said, dude. I mean, it's all good in the hood. I mean, it really is. I'm totally fine. Um, you know, but yeah, like I said, that was not my intention to get back onto that. So I don't want to give that guy any more. He got more attention from me doing my video than he's got attention on his channel in probably a year. So it is what it is. So I don't want to go and give that guy another single solitary minute or exposure, quite frankly. What up, Alex? My brother. I mean, I feel like, obviously, I could be wrong. You all could probably, some of you I'm sure know better than me. Two things I think of immediately is, one, he's in a bigger market. St. Louis is a very popular team, much more popular than I think the Colorado Rockies are. So I think he's going to get a lot more hobby exposure. And I think his cards would go up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would think his cards would start going up even more being with the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think his production is going to be as high being in St. Louis opposed to the Coors Field in Colorado. So I think his defense is amazing. So that's going to be awesome for sure. Sorry, I'm trying to feel like I was a little bit too cockeyed. But as far as I feel like it's a game changer in the National League Central because, the Reds didn't do anything. Obviously, the Pirates did nothing. The Marlins, the Brewers didn't do anything. And the Cubs lost almost everybody. It feels like the Cubs lost everybody. They lost Schwarber. They lost Darvish. Did they lose somebody? They lost somebody else. I thought Lester retired or left or something. So the Cubs lost a lot of people. They didn't add anybody. The Reds didn't really add anybody. So I feel like the Cardinals, the Reds have a pretty decent team, but I think the Cardinals made a big acquisition that will help them a lot, especially the National League Central. So yeah, man, for sure. Jason Basham people got him. Yeah. Well, I don't know how true is that though, Gary. Like this year, I didn't bash anybody, and apparently it was because of me playing nice is what got me into the Hall of Fame. So it depends on what corners of the YouTube world you ask. Some people think me playing nice got me into the Hall of Fame. Some people because I'm still prickly around the edges and will do an occasional rant on an individual or a situation gets me in. So who knows? I'll let the interwebs be the one who figure that out. Yeah, I'm sure the Rockies fans are not happy. I agree. John Mangini, you probably could. You could probably sell a few of your rare cards, as Dave likes to say. Every card that John shows on his channel is rare. And you probably could at this point buy the Pirates, without a doubt. I will say that I do think that might have something to do with it, to be honest with you, Gary. I never even thought of that until recently. Probably the last maybe last week or so. But and obviously that was never my intention. That didn't even cross my mind when I started doing it. That would even be a thing. But I do think my live streams have been very popular with the community, and that's not me patting myself on the back. You can go watch those videos, and you see how many views those videos have, and it's quite a bit. It's awesome, and it has nothing to do with me. I will say it has zero to do with me. It's usually about who I have on the channel. That's what a lot of it has to do with. It has zero to do with me. Like it just happens to be I'm the facilitator of it. It happens to be on my channel, but that's about the extent of it. No one's coming to see me. They're coming to see everybody else. I just happen to be the guy who hits the go live button on my phone. But yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, quite frankly. But it also has helped me because the other videos I've been doing recently, like I do care package videos or showing off my eBay videos. Like before I was doing like 20, 30, maybe once in a while 40 views on my videos, which again is you notice these things, of course. It's not at all a driving force of my channel, but you notice them. But now in the last month and a half, 2 months, where I've been doing a lot more live streams and connecting with a lot of people and bringing people together and different factions of the YouTube community and putting them in together with me. My videos, when I just do my run-of-the-mill videos, are getting 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 views. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't do it at all for the views, but you notice it when I put it on and I see, well, that one, video I did and I showed my eBay haul. People were like, oh, this is great. To me, it's not about the views. It's about the conversation. And I'm getting a lot more people corresponding with me back and forth, which is all I care about, dude. All I care about is the conversation. I could care less about the likes or dislikes or the views or whatever. People come and like my or people come and comment on my videos. That's what I care about. For sure. I bet you are, George, excited about the Arenado to join your card collection. It'll be because everybody knows. If you don't know George, I don't know if George is from St. Louis or from Missouri, but he's a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so that's for sure. My cat's name is not Claude. Luca named him, and his name's Garfield. I know it's pretty shocking, and we really have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for, like thinking outside the box and an individuality in the Payne household. We really stretched the names to go deep into the cat world of names and pull out Garfield. Yeah, I agree, Gary. I think the interaction is great because, I mean, so many people pop on those things and hang out and stuff and watch. I mean, heck, even me and Elbow Sausage, me and Gary, like those. I mean, it's exclusively wrestling, and it'll get like 90 to 100 something views. And I didn't even realize how many people even cared about wrestling, quite frankly, especially on my channel, because it's such a small part of what I do. But it gets great. It gets a great support. I love it. I wouldn't change a single thing. I'm glad Gary reached out to me and we can do it. So I think it's awesome. Yeah, and yeah, you're right, Schmidt. Yeah, Didi and JT, those are huge for the Phillies. Oh man, let's see. Yeah, I haven't even bashed Mike this year. I mean, not to my knowledge. The last time I can remember even beginning the thing was the fire pit thing, which everybody was having a problem with. But again, I wasn't one of the main ones who said anything. And then the video that he said my name in out of the blue. I mean, he did I can't even remember exactly the precipice of the video, but it was like a quasi rant video on his part, maybe, or something. It was like talking, but he like said people who thumbs down his videos, which I wasn't thumbs downing his videos, at least not at that time, because I didn't even watch his channel. And then he said he picked my name out of the blue. I guess he just assumed I was trolling him on his channel, which I was not. I mean, I'd be 100% honest about. But he says something about me being like talking garbage about him like months later, which I didn't say anything. And he says my name on the video, and then he, at the end of the video, pulls out an AR-15 or something and says, "I'm going to go zombie hunting if there's a zombie apocalypse." And I was like, WTF? Like, did that just happen? So then I did another video talking about, hey, if you got a problem with me, you can come to my house and we'll settle it. And that was the last time we did a thing, and that was it. We squashed it because after that, I joined Bench Clear and been watching his channels forever. Or since I would say, like, I came back in September, October, whenever I came back. So yeah, I mean, I definitely was not bashing him. And then again, with a card cutter, he did the same thing that Smitty guy out of the complete blue. He like runs me into the ground, but me and Garrett are cool. I have no problem with Garrett. Garrett and I had a conversation. It was a private conversation. I'm not gonna elaborate on it, but he called me up and we worked things out. We talked. He's been on my videos, chatting with me on live streams. I mean, he's been great. Totally fine. Zero problems with Garrett. I appreciate him reaching out to me. We work things out like I did with Mike. I couldn't be more happy about it. So yeah, I mean, whatever people say, there's like drama with me and other people in the community. It's like this year, honestly, hasn't been much to do with about me. It's like me reacting to somebody calling me out is what it is. It's like I'm not proactively looking for people to like go after. And I don't think I've ever done that. I feel like I've always done like the exact opposite. I'm only the most outspoken one. So some people just, I think, gravitate towards that, but it's whatever. Yeah, man, I appreciate that, Alex. Yeah, I mean, I think so. A lot of people, that's the one thing I have to say about my channel recently is because a lot of people will say stuff like, I never knew that channel existed, Jason, until you had him on your live stream, or these kind of conversations with a chat going. People connect each other through that chat, and they might not be on the live stream, but they're connected with each other. And that's what it's all about, dude. For me, that's what it's all about, is connecting. I think people who come to my channel, generally speaking, are, obviously like what I'm doing, so they're probably gonna like some of the people who watch me or follow me, and vice versa, which is to me is what it's all about. Hey, thanks, Reese. I appreciate the kind words, brother. Gary, yeah, man. I'm always about bringing people out of the murk and the muck, to pull them out of that, to bring them into the light. That's what I do. I just need more what? I just need more pitching. All right, I'm trying to get caught up on the stuff, guys. Sorry, I apologize. I kind of slowed down for a second, but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's true. I'm gonna try to avoid that. I'm gonna try to avoid that conversation yet again, because everything's been said about that's been said. So I don't really need to say. Hey, what up, Jet Man? I appreciate you popping on, dude. Thanks. I really appreciate it, man. And I do appreciate you coming on to the live streams and hanging out the last couple of times I've done them. I've noticed it, and I do appreciate it, sir. Yeah, Gary. I mean, that's the thing, though. And I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of my live streams, I mean, when I have you on, I did one with TTM Autograph, Troy, and Doug from Boston. And we did a TTM one, and I had tons of watches on that. I get more views on those things than I do on my own channel. That's totally fine, or on my own personal videos, and I'm totally fine with that. I love it. That's great. I'm glad to do it. I love doing that. I mean, I'd much rather have John Mangini on my channel showing off his stuff and just talking about cards and just his experiences than anything else. I've learned more from John's channel in the last year and a half, whatever I've been watching, than I have on almost anybody else's channel, aside from maybe like Bowman 53 Alex. Dare I say, Mike Baseball Collector's channel and his bench clear stuff that he does, and the Golden Age podcast, I believe, Golden Age of Cards podcast. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff from these guys' channels, Dave, Blue Jacket 66, because they're just knowledgeable people. I enjoy it. Not to say other people's channels, of course, but I mean, they kind of focus on the history of the game, the history of the cards. So it's a little bit different aspect of it. Obviously I'm learning about from a lot of people's channels on just everyday stuff, but that's kind of like a common thread that you see on those guys' channels, where it's a lot of like that. I honestly, John, I mean, it's out there. I mean, you're not missing anything. There's gonna be 9 minutes of your life you won't be able to get back, but it's out there floating around. I'm sure you'll be thrilled to hear what he has to say. It's a guy. It's like it's like that guy in the '90s who dresses up in goth to be like, have everybody look at him like, they're like the big Marilyn Manson, they're like wearing lipstick and like chains around their necks and collars and things, and they're like, dye their hair black and put like white powdered makeup on, like they're just looking to have attention. That's what this was. It was like a dumpster fire of a video where it's like screaming, like, come look at me, I want to be relevant, I want to be important. So if you're looking for that, you can definitely find it, because that's what it was. But to some people, apparently, he just, that's just an opinion. It's an opinion that you just run people into the ground for no reason. But, it is what it is. All right, see you later, Henry. You take care, brother. I appreciate you and your channel as always. And the craziness the craziest comments you leave on my channel. I literally look forward to them every time I wake up, usually in the morning, because you're obviously 3 hours behind me. So when I go to bed, I'll see a lot of times a Henry S comment. And I always look forward to those comments, because Lord knows what you might say. And I absolutely love it. So, yeah, without a doubt, man. This is great, dude. I can't believe this. What time is it? Like not even 10 o'clock, and I have so many people in here chatting. That's fantastic. But, I need some coffee too. What up, TTM Autograph? I need somebody, because somebody make me a coffee. I got this new Japanese coffee that I bought recently. And I went to the Japanese grocery store about maybe 20 minutes from my house. It's actually a Japanese grocery store, not an Asian one. I think there's people might not know Maybe they do know, but there's differences between like an Asian supermarket and then one that specifies it's a Japanese one or Korean or Chinese. Like the Asian, like a catch-all, like a little bit of everything. But there's a Japanese grocery store about 20-ish, 25 minutes from my house, and they had this Japanese coffee I'd never seen before in America. It's called NCC. Let me go grab it. It's really good. If you ever come across it, let me grab it so you all can see. This is really good coffee. It's super popular in Japan. About it, it's called UCC the blend, and it's really really good. I love that. This is like one of my favorite coffees in the morning. Of course, on the back you have it's all in Japanese. Let me try to get it better there. Actually, this morning I woke up and I had green tea with my eggs and a bagel, but everybody's talking about coffee. Maybe I'll do a coffee. Can you smell that, guys? Can you smell it? Can you smell what the zombie is cooking? Woo-wee. Yeah. But like this right here, guys, I mean, it doesn't look like much. I mean, let's see. How big is this jar? Does it even say? I'm sure it says somewhere. It's all in Japanese. Sometimes it's hard for me to read the kanji, but it's not a huge jar. And this right here, because it's imported from Japan, it's like it was like $8, but it's good. It's good. I put a little creamer in there, a little creamer. And man, it is delish. Oh, that's cool. You know about it, Georgia. I figured you probably would. I knew that it was pretty popular in Korea as well. But yeah, for sure, I do like it. Yeah, man. Hey, what up, Andy? Good morning. It's Coffee Talk with Zombie Collector. Kohi Shabadoos, those Zombie Collector net. Yeah, somebody already handled it for me. I bought it in a Japanese grocery store, but you can find it probably in any Asian market. So yeah, you can probably find it anywhere if you go to an Asian market. So there's different variations, by the way. There's not just this one. I happen to like this one the most, but there's like 2 or 3 different ones of this, and then if you don't have a Japanese market next to you, you can go to an Asian market, and they may have it. And I will say, usually Asian markets or Chinese markets tend to be cheaper than Japan, Japanese markets. I feel like for whatever reason, Japan has in America has this upper level of prestige on their food or whatnot, and so. If you go and find this in the Japanese grocery store, like I was telling you, pay like $8. But you can find the same thing maybe at an Asian mart, and you can find it for like 5 or 6. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Let's take a look here. They sell at the CU, which is a Family Mart. Oh yeah. Oh okay. Which they used to be Family Mart before they changed the name. I didn't know Family Mart changed to CU. That's interesting. Yeah, Family Mart's huge. Family Mart, though, in Japan and Lawson. And they have a 7-Elevens everywhere in Japan. That's interesting. I got to go buy my coffee for the live. I'm not getting angry at you, Caesar. It's just very frustrating that you have somebody like yourself I like. I feel like you're defending a guy who was purposely attacking me for no reason. You're like, that's just his opinion. I'm like, it'd be different if I was attacking him for no reason, then yeah, I'm the douchebag. But it's whatever, dude. It's cool. It's whatever. You know, it is what it is, man. There is actually in Indianapolis, there is Caesar, a lot of Asian supermarkets. No, obviously nowhere near like in Los Angeles, of course. But I mean, I could think of off the top of my head like about a dozen. So for a small for a state that's not going to be filled with probably millions of Asians, that's for sure. We're talking about tens of thousands of Asians, maybe, and then of course people who are also maybe lived in Asia off and on through the years, or that are like transplants, or they're like immigrants that come here who might live here. They're here just for work, or they're expats and stuff. There's a lot of people that come through Indianapolis because it's the biggest city in Indiana, as you would expect. There's a lot of it. But I mean, like, I know there's like 2 or 3 Korean markets. There's 1 Japanese. Obviously, there's a bunch of Chinese. There's a bunch of Asian. And then there's a couple like big international supermarkets as well that I can think of off the top of my head. So, I mean, I'd say a dozen at least. I mean, and I'm not even including like the Indian markets, like the Pakistani and Indian, like the Middle Eastern markets. I kind of feel like that's a completely different animal. You might lump them all together, but I wouldn't, because it's not even near the same type of food. If you know anything about Indian food, like Pakistani food, Middle Eastern food, it has really no semblance to Asian food aside from rice, and even rice is their rices are quite different as well. And then you have like Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines. Again, I don't consider that as the same type of Asian food because it's quite different than Japanese food and Asian food, Korean food. But yeah, you have those kind of markets as well. So, hey, what up, Donnie? Sorry, I missed the comment, brother. Hey, well, thanks for popping in, dude. 6 years ago in Korea, maybe. Wow, okay. I haven't been to Korea since 2006, I think, was the last time I was in Korea. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I'm sure it's season. You probably have tons. You're exactly right, dude. I bet there's. I would love to go to like, was it Little Tokyo and Koreatown? I would love to go those places. I mean, even Chinatown probably to a lesser degree, but I would love to go. Actually, some of my best friends from college, they live in Koreatown. He's a pastor of a Korean church in Los Angeles, and they're always trying to get me to come out and visit. So I might try to get out there because I mean, obviously, I know you. I know Smitty now. He's he's a good friend of mine. A lot of guys out there in the California area, in the Los Angeles area. So it's cool. Obviously, Aaron Davis and Nate and Tony, out there, psyched on baseball cards. So yeah, it's cool for sure. Yeah, dude, golden curry. I got the Jamaican version of curry from Japan a couple days ago. I picked up, which I absolutely love. It's called Java curry, but it always has like this Jamaican looking feel to it. Hey, what's up, Garfield? Yeah, you're a good boy. Yes, you are. He finally decided to come over and say hi. Yeah, a lot of Korean army. That would make sense. And man, it's not necessary, Caesar. It is what it is, dude. You feel how you feel, man. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine, man. You do you, man. You do you. Yeah, it's my stolen cat. Yeah, it wouldn't even come up to me. Can I get you? Oh, he's over there eating. So no wonder. Again, like I said, he probably like, screw you, round eye. I don't want or need you. I just want to escape your house, so I can run up a tree, and then I'm gonna have to have you like dig me out of the tree. That's like ridiculous, man. This cat, dude, it's crazy. I know, no kidding. And if I show them on camera, it'll be forever on the interwebs. They'll know that I'm in a cat fight club that I do. The first rule of cat fight club is there is no cat fight club. Oh my gosh, dude! This is crazy. It is crazy. It is mind-boggling. So yes, there's a Japanese coffee for you. I got my Japanese green tea. It is what it is. I might do some coffee a little bit later off camera. I don't want to get too many people too excited about my coffee. Yeah, knock. Yeah, you have my cat. I know you do. Even though it was chipped, and if I look it up online or however you look up a chipped cat, you would know that the cat's not here. But okay, that makes no sense. Like I said, that woman got so lucky, dude, because she had 2 little girls with her. I didn't want to be a complete douchebag, like more than normal. As you all know, it's very possible for me. That's my superpower. So I was trying to like be a halfway decent guy, but it is what it is. So yeah, I guess that's it. So baseball starts in a couple weeks, guys. Are we excited? I had heard that they're gonna be on time for baseball, but then I read that the Cactus League in Arizona, they're trying to ask baseball to push back spring training. Do we know if that's going to actually happen, or are they going to just still continue to move forward with spring training starting in like February 15th or 16th or whenever they start? Because I know in Florida, to my knowledge, they're going to just be business as usual. BAU, baby. BAU, business as usual. But maybe they're going to have to maybe send the guys that are in the Cactus League to a different state, possibly, like Texas. I don't know. Go to Florida. I don't know, New Mexico. I don't know, other places that maybe will be more open to letting them start practice early or spring training. I'm kind of surprised that Arizona had said that. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, Garfield, where did you go? Where are you? I don't know. Where is this cat at? Meow, 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 meow. Oh, I'm doing the Caesar. I'm doing the Pepino Man with his big cat head. But I don't know. I was hoping they're going to end up being, they're going to get be back on track. But when I saw that about the Cactus League in Arizona was kind of pumping the brakes on having them start on time, I was like, man, please, for the love of God, don't do this. Let's get this party started. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's get this party started. So who knows? I'm like, please do not start Ari out of the gate, stumbling out of the gate like the Kentucky Derby horses. Yeah. You want to come up here and say hi? This cat's gotten huge in the matter of just a month. I mean, you could tell when I got it, it was a kitten because it was it was maybe this big, and now it's this big. Garfield, you want to come here? I'm using my foot as bait to bring him over here. I'm like, you want a little bit of this, baby? You want a little bit of this? Yeah, I'm not begging you, cat, to come over here. I was trying to make you YouTube famous. I was trying to get my views up, get my subs up, because if you show animals on your video, then you're gonna get way more support. You can start your own YouTube channel. You can have your own Instagram page. You can have your own Twitter account, and then you just live off of your cat or your dog's popularity on social media. And I don't know, can you cancel an animal? Cancel culture, can you cancel an animal? If your animal says something questionable, can that animal be canceled? I don't know. Animals and babies, and if it's a baby animal, it's even better. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we will find out. We will find out. All right, guys. I think I'm going to head off. I'm going to drink this coffee. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. And hopefully we enjoyed. I stayed pretty much happy Jason 2.0. There was a little bump in the road, but I think we got through it. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. And we'll do it again if you're lucky. Until next time, peace.